with a look at the retailer's business strategy and how it stacks up, Sheila, to the other tech giant, Apple.
Yeah, everyone loves to talk about Amazon and Apple in the same breath, right? They often compete for the same customer, they have visionary founders, but very, very different operating philosophies at the heart of it. So first you talk about product. Apple, all about these beautifully finished products. Steve Jobs, of course, was the genius at the unveil of the product. You know, Tim Cook is continuing that legacy. In fact, he has said publicly, we don't want to have 1,000 different products going. We just want to focus on a few things. Then you have Jeff Bezos, completely the opposite, right? He has said, we have seeds planted everywhere. We just want to come to the market as quickly as possible. And here's a really funny story. Apparently, when Amazon first came out, you could actually order a negative number of books and make money from Amazon.
Really?
That's how quickly.
How does that work?
So you could enter a negative number of books when you ordered it, and then you would get a credit for it on your credit card.
Oh, that is so...
But it's just a data point to show you how
that just shows you how crazy it is, yes.
Yeah, how quickly they want to come to market. They're willing to experiment. They're willing to incrementally innovate. So big differences there. Also a big difference in pricing. Apple, of course, a premium product. You know, you pay a lot of money for these beautifully finished products. Amazon coming out and saying, look, we want to sell things to you as cheaply as possible. And you can see that loud and clear in their results as well, right? These razor-thin margins you're actually talking about. Apple margins north of 30%. Amazon actually had a negative operating profit last quarter. And then finally, you have to talk about cash hoards, because that's a big topic people love to talk about. Apple's big cash hoard, $137 billion. You know, Larry Haverty from Gamco actually said that he thought Apple may get sued over this. Amazon doesn't hold that cash. They like to reinvest.
Okay, Sheila, hang on, because I want to bring in Tom here in on this. I mean, how long can this strategy for Amazon last?
So if you think about where Amazon is today in the fourth quarter, they're in the midst of a very hyper investment cycle. So they're adding new hardware. You talked about the Kindle Fire. We think at some point they'll add a smartphone. They're investing in content for Amazon Instant Video, and they're adding fulfillment centers to get the product to the consumer faster. So at some point, they're going to hit scale on fulfillment centers. They're going to slow the rate of hardware investment, and I think you'll see a natural pullback in the margin.
Okay.
I don't know that necessarily would be 2013, because I think there's a lot of things they still want to invest in, but at some point, I think you'll see a rebound in the operating margin at Amazon.
Tom, what is at some point going to happen? Because when you look at the numbers, Amazon has actually only had $5 billion total in profit since 2003. So that's it. This is a company that makes $80 billion in revenue, and since 2003 has only made $5 billion in profit.
That's incredible.
When are investors going to get tired of this and be like, look, we finally want to see the money to the bottom line?
Well, I think investors will get tired when you start to see a slowdown in the sales.
Yeah.
So, but culturally, I think of Amazon like a Walmart or a Costco as a low-margin company. They believe in offering consumers low prices, and they don't intend necessarily to have pricing power and to take up margins over time. So I think that you're going to see a natural rebound in margins, but I don't think they're ever going to become a huge profit center like other companies in the space like Apple you're mentioning.
Have investors ever complained about sort of, as you mentioned, the diversity of products, sort of the everywhere that Amazon is? I mean, is there any sense that it should be more focused at all, like an Apple?
So when the stock's under pressure, there's two common complaints. One is that they don't make any money on anything they sell, and the second is that the valuation's too high. So I think that right now, if you look at the stock, it's had a very nice run, and people like it in the space, so you don't hear a lot of comments on valuation.
Sure.
But I think if you ever see a quarter where their sales aren't as strong or as robust as people expect, comments on valuation and low profitability will spring up for sure.
Well, to that point, this growth of Amazon's profits has actually won them in the stock market. So if you take a look at Apple and Amazon's stock price over the past 5 years, surprisingly, at least I was surprised by this, Amazon is actually a little bit higher.
It's outperformed.
Outperformed. 257% versus Apple's 232%. Yes, both of them are big outperformers, but I thought that was interesting that there's still this hold for Amazon's promise versus Apple's profit.
What do we know about the competition between the Kindle Fire and the mini iPad, that's come out from Apple? I mean, what about product by product?
Yep.
I mean, how are they doing?
So if you look at the iPad mini versus the Kindle Fire, you're talking about $199 price point for the Kindle Fire and $329 on the mini. So I think the mini's actually added a mid-tier price point within the tablet space. You have the iPad, the mini, and then you have the Kindle Fire. So from a gross margin standpoint, we estimate that the mini has somewhere in the neighborhood of a 25% gross margin versus the Kindle Fire, it's a 5%.
Just 5%?
Very low gross
Okay.
margin. We don't think they're necessarily selling it for free, but clearly their strategy is to get you to buy the content for the device and make money or make a little more money that way than selling you the device.
Do you think we're ever going to see the breakout for the Kindle numbers?
No. So if you think about Amazon, they typically give you some guideposts, but they never give you specifics on unit sales.
Okay, and just finally, on a final note with Amazon, what are you going to be listening out for today or looking out for in this report?
So they've built their fulfillment center. The wild card, I would say, for the quarter is they started collecting sales tax in California, Pennsylvania, and Texas in the September quarter. Best Buy indicated that in the holiday sales period, they saw a 400 to 600 basis point lift in their sales in those regions. Now, our studies suggest that consumers only care about sales tax on big ticket items, TVs, computers, which we estimate is about 14% of their retail sales, but that's what we'll be listening for in the call tonight.